Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you about The Finals, which just released today on Steam. It should be free to play, and I'm pretty sure it's also available on PlayStation and Xbox in every region. But I was fortunate enough to get an invite from Embark Studios to go to an early capture event. Haven't gone to one of those in a while. And since the full game is out, my NDA has lifted and I can talk all about it. And I've got a lot of positive things to say. But first, I wanted to tell you that a lot of the gameplay at the event was just on their brand new Las Vegas map, which is designed to be their close quarters indoor map. For this game, since it's very big in scale, that's the Call of Duty equivalent of Shipment. And it was the sand version of Vegas that I got several times in a row because the game has random weather events. So I might put in some other gameplay for some other stuff because a lot of what you're seeing here isn't actually that representative of the final game. I didn't want you to come away thinking this is like a wasteland survival shooter, whereas reality, this is like a crazy game show, fly through the air hero shooter, very urban, very bright, usually a little bit more detailed than this. The Las Vegas Sandstorm was a little bit of a unique anomaly that I ended up playing on quite a lot. But in case you're unfamiliar, The Finals is a very high mobility, team-based shooter with destructible environments. I did an entire review video on that, which we can link down there below. So let's talk about the new stuff from the meeting and press release that I went to early. So obviously, first up, they have a new map coming, which is Las Vegas. That's perfect because this game is designed to be a literal game show, and there's not a better place on the planet for it than that. A couple of different weather versions of this, very destructible, but smaller compared to the other maps. The developers described it as not a hero shooter, which I found suspicious because you have your heavy, medium, and light classes that have shields and stealth and various damage boosting abilities, and it felt very much like a hero shooter, but the way they described it, which I'll relay to you, is a hero builder. They like for you to pick the medium, heavy, and light classes and then very heavily customize them into the hero that you want. If you think about these classes, they're a little bit more like a mech chassis, just the health and movement, and then everything else you can customize. And that's true because there is a ton of customization between classes. They said that the game is a game show at heart. It's not a battle royale. It's not a mill sim. It's not a hero shooter. It's trying to be an entertainment-focused game show. So the main focus of the game and every step of the development process was fun, not realism, not necessarily competitiveness, though we'll talk about that in a moment, but just plain fun because that allowed for the most flexibility in design choices. And we got a lot of content coming for Season 1, which is launching very soon. Every live service game is going to be selling microtransactions and stuff. But they said the main focus on the game was to keep it running smooth and that they're not going to add in cosmetics that totally break the game. That's great because not every other FPS has that focus. There's a lot of times where companies will let the game run in a terrible state and just keep cranking out cosmetics. So let's hope that's not true of the Finals. I will say the build I played and all the builds I've played have ran even on lower spec PCs. They've been pretty well optimized. So far they're doing good on that. They did say that the final game has taken a lot of community feedback into consideration from both casual players, streamers, and YouTubers. The developers have been reaching out to people. They've been talking about it. The developers play their own game too, so that's a really strong start. Season 1 is coming. Lots of content, battle pass, cosmetics, stuff like this. Both PC and consoles, and Embark Studios. This is their first ever shooter, to the best of my knowledge, and their first ever live service game. So they're coming out of the gate very strong here. So let's move into a little bit more of a less press release, more review part of the video, where I share with you some of my overall positive opinions about the game. And number one is that they very much so do deliver on the game being fun to play. I really genuinely have a lot of fun with it. It seems like the emphasis is totally on fun. And I think that the destructible environments add a lot of variety to gameplay. For a lot of games, the destructible environments are annoying. This one feels more like Rainbow Six Siege, where it's like a feature. There are competitive tactical things to do, or you could just blow up the floor to make the objectives fall to you. I've shot glass out from under people's feet and made them fall through. It adds a lot of chaos to the map and a lot of fun, a lot of make your own doors as well. The class customizations are rather extensive. Even though you've only got heavy, medium, and light, you've got a lot of different builds you can make in amongst all of them. And I absolutely love the advanced movement, the jump pads, the zip lines, the flying across the map, the no-fall damage, the generous mantling, the kicking in windows and doors and stuff. I am all here for it. It feels super fun for me. I just love the feeling of flying around the map. Any game that makes me feel like I can fly, I'm probably going to be happy with. And the shooting mechanics in this game are rudimentary, but they do reward proper aim. Taking a closer look at them, they're very basic, very standard. This is how a FPS game operates, kind of shooting mechanics, without a lot of, that I'm able to tell, complex stuff going on in the background. But that's okay, that works for me. And the most important part is if you aim well, if you click heads, you are rewarded for it very greatly, perhaps even more so than the abilities. The game's cosmetics are very fun so far. They're adding a lot more to it. It's kind of got its own sense of style, and to me that style is very European. This is very European cool. This is very European hip. God, I sound like a boomer saying that. But it has its own sense of style. Everybody is by default in these sort of very European exercise tracksuit looks, and then you customize them. But the cosmetics, you can have a pet bird. You can have the Conspira kitten on your shoulder, which is a cat with a tinfoil hat that whispers conspiracies into your ears. You can play as an alien, an angel, a biker, a panda, an oni, a fox, all this kind of stuff. And it feels very Squid Games-like in terms of style, which I'm totally here for. The game is not an indie game. The Finals is not an independent game. It's made by Embark, which is not an indie studio, and they do operate under Nexon. But it is a lower budget, smaller dev team game, so it's not a traditional AAA shooter. That means they don't have the same support structure that a AAA shooter would have, but it also means they have a lot more flexibility and they can do things quicker. And a lot of developers were playing in this early capture NDA session with the content creators, and that's really great to see. And I don't mean just some developers. I mean, at least like 20 or 30 of these people got on. I played with developers. By the way, the developers I played with, thank you. You were all fantastic. You helped me get great clips. But it's just great to see developers actually playing their own game and being able to kind of give feedback with it live. And I just love that. So let's move on to the next part where I nitpick some flaws. The game definitely plays best in tournament and ranked mode. The casual mode is a little bit low stakes. It's a little more goof around. It's like Call of Duty silly. There's nothing going on. I really believe the tournament mode, which is how you play up the bracket and go to the finals, is the best mode, and that ranked aspect to it gives you a reason to play, and it makes the other aspects of the game better. So since it is a competitive focused game, like most of them, it's great to play on a team. This is just fantastic if you've got two friends to party up with. It's pretty miserable to play solo. You do not want to be playing this game solo. There's a lot of ways for that to go wrong. I don't like the game when it lags. It didn't lag much during our playtest. It has during the alphas. There's more people wanting to play this game than I think they can afford server space for, which is a bad mix. And when it lags, it's really choppy. This game does not have like that smooth Call of Duty lag comp. It just starts chopping. And I suspect the environmental destruction contributes to the lag, so the more intense match you play, the more likely it is to lag. I'm hoping, given the absurd popularity of the beta, that Nexon and Embark are budgeting for a lot more servers to help mitigate this problem. A flaw for a lot of people, but not for me, is that the game seems very much so built around mouse and keyboard. It is very much so a PC-feeling game. It does not seem like the thing that would be very easy to do on console. I don't think there was a single console or controller player with us when we played today, and I have not played this on console myself. I have heard feedback from other people that the sticky aim, the stick inputs, and the setup for the controller isn't that great, that it could be better. It's definitely not at Call of Duty level, but getting a shooter right on a controller is way harder than it is to get it right on mouse and keyboard for a lot of reasons. So that might take several patches and work to catch up with. Maybe the final game is better. Maybe the people I talk to in the videos I watch are just totally wrong. But it definitely feels great on mouse and keyboard, and I see people complaining about other things. And then finally, something that the game itself doesn't directly control is that this is a live service game. It's a big multiplayer game. It's funded through microtransactions and stuff like that. Like, I want to be an alien, so I'm gonna spend $10 to do that. And it requires a large player base to sustain itself. So the finals kind of needs to be a hit to keep existing. I don't know what their minimum number is or what they want from the game, but a lot of these games come out, they're really popular for a while, and then they die off because the player base doesn't stick. So that's my final criticism, and my overall vibes, my overall feel for this game is that it has a genuine chance to become a staple shooter. And by that, I mean it could consistently live in the top 10 shooters on Steam charts for a very long time. It may not do this. It may die. It may be unpopular. A lot of things happen. It's probably not replacing COD. It's not going to kill Battlefield. You know, I don't think a whole ton of people are going to quit Valorant or Siege or Apex to play this game exclusively, though some will. A lot of Apex players actually really do seem to like this game. But I feel like even though it might not dominate, it's not going to take over and kick these guys out, it can live up there in the same category. I feel that this game has a place. It could have legs. It could be 8 years from now, like Rainbow Six Siege, people are still playing it. If the developers stick with their plan, if they deliver the content, if they keep it running smooth, if it's popular, it really has what it takes to be one of those all-time great shooters. It may not get there, that's hard to predict, but the game just overall gave me a great vibe. And I think a huge portion of that is I love mid-air combat. I love flying around. I love destructible environments. This game has a lot of the stuff that I like all in one package. It feels like it was kind of made for me. Well guys, that's all for this, I guess you could call it review, preview, impressions video. I hope you enjoyed it. The finals is out if you want to check it out. Should be linked down there in the description somewhere. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.